Michael Jordan is the greatest player to ever play the game, and he was described as God disguised as Michael Jordan by Magic Johnson. Considering the impact MJ had and the legacy he left behind, it's hard to imagine him now as a young up-and-coming player who looked up to other players in the league. In the Underrated series, we will take a dive into the careers of players who didn't get their just due in the basketball history books. Whether it was because of playing in the shadow of other players, lack of coverage at the time, or simply because their impact faded away over the course of time, these players deserve to have their names mentioned in the old-timer conversations. MJ was known for his time-stopping hang time, which produced some spectacular dunks. His hang time was so great that he got the nickname Air Jordan. But before him there was a player with a hang time so unreal, he got the nickname Skywalker, since it looked like he was walking through the air whenever he jumped. That player is David Thompson. Thompson only played 9 seasons in the league, 7 of them for the Denver Nuggets and the last 2 for the Seattle Supersonics. His first 4 seasons with the Nuggets he averaged 25.8 points, 4.7 rebounds and 3.8 assists, shooting 51.4% from the field. And he led the Nuggets to the playoffs every one of those seasons. In his first season, the Nuggets actually played in the NBA's rival league, the ABA. But after the merger in Thompson's second season, he played out the rest of his career in the NBA. Despite his stellar numbers, the most well-known aspect of his game was his vertical leap.
The whole term and the whole measuring of vertical leap began, I think, with David Thompson. He vaulted off the ground, exploded off the ground. 44 inches was a lot, it still is a lot. You can tell when he was there above you, he surprised you.
Michael Jordan idolized David Thompson so much that he asked him to open the holes for MJ when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2009. Michael Jordan had seen Thompson play at NC State, which is close to where MJ grew up, and he said he inspired him to pursue basketball as a career. The great tragedy of Thompson's NC State career was that all the fans and spectators were robbed of witnessing his jumping ability, because the dunk was outlawed. Due to the Lou Alcindor rule implemented in 1967, college players were not allowed to dunk in games, and any players who dunked would have their field goal voided and receive a technical foul. The rule was in place up until 1977, which meant that it overlapped with Thompson's NC State career from 1972 to 75. Because of this rule, he was never allowed to dunk in college. Well, actually, in his last home game for NC State, he threw down a dunk on a fast break late in the second half, for which he received a technical foul and 0 points. Because he wasn't allowed to dunk, he was able to improve on other dimensions of his game to become one of the greatest NCAA players ever. In 3 seasons at NC State, he averaged 26.9 points and won the championship in his sophomore year, where he was voted the most valuable player. He was also the ACC Player of the Year for all of his 3 years in college. His leaping ability finally came on display during his first season as a professional, when he finished second in the inaugural dunk contest to fellow high flyer Julius Erving. His prolific scoring ability came on display in 1978 when he scored 73 points against the Detroit Pistons, which still stands as the 4th highest scoring game ever. He was actually in an effort to snag the 1978 scoring title from Spurs player George Gerving. However, Gerving put in an effort of its own on the same night and scored 63 points to win the scoring title by 0.1%. After his first 4 years in professional basketball, David Thompson's career took a dark turn. He suffered a foot injury in 1980 and turned to cocaine and other drugs as he ended up lonely and depressed. He came back in the 1980-81 season and still put up great numbers, but the Nuggets missed the playoffs and he was pretty much never the same after it. In his remaining 3 seasons, he only averaged 15.1 points on 49% shooting, and retired in the 1983-84 season. Sadly, his drug problems only got worse as time went on. He checked into rehab for cocaine in 1983 to try and clean himself up. Despite this effort, he fell down a stairwell during a fight at the Studio 59 club in New York, a nightclub notorious for its open drug use. In his fall, he suffered a career-ending knee injury. His cocaine addiction only got worse after his career ended, but after serving half a year in jail in 1987, he became a Christian and sobered up. In NBA discussions, David Thompson is mostly remembered as one of the poster boys of the cocaine era of the NBA in the 1970s, an era which I also plan to make a video on. Because of this, his legacy as a basketball player has mostly been forgotten by modern NBA fans, and he has become criminally underrated considering that he was one of the best scorers of his time, and one of the best NCAA players to ever play college ball. However, his legacy will always be exhibited in the Hall of Fame, where he was enshrined in 1992. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and a comment below, and if you enjoy the NBA and its history, subscribe for more content.